welcome back to Rough Chop. It is episode 3, and today we are making Palak Paneer. What's Palak Paneer, you might ask? Well, don't worry. It's a curry made with all sorts of deliciousness, and it is one of the easiest things in the world to make, and also one of the most delicious. So, I'm going to teach you how. So, let's get started. I've noticed in my previous videos I've kind of not really taken the time to kind of, tell you how to prepare to make a quick and easy meal. So get out your cutting board, read your recipe. If it's not a recipe, just kind of get out the things that you need, get your veggies ready, your knife, your board, a nice cloth, and a dry towel. Now, this entire meal is going to come together in approximately 20 to 25 minutes max. So it happens pretty fast, but it's amazing that you can have dinner ready that quick. So the first thing we need to do is make our rice. And today we are using basmati rice. I prefer basmati with a curry, and it's kind of generally what you will get at any Indian or Pakistani restaurant. So with basmati, we are going to be doing the absorption method of cooking rice. There are there's many, many more ways, but the 3 standard ways of cooking rice are the absorption method. You can cook it like spaghetti in a lot of water and then strain it out. And then there's a rinsing method that never seems to work out for me. So basmati cooks super fast, so that's why we're choosing it as well. 2 cups of basmati rice. Now, normally you would put water and a little bit of salt in here, but I make my own vegetable stock, which I like to use to cook my rice or basically anything, quinoa. If you have stock around, use it. If you don't have stock around, you can make your own stock with hot water and a vegetable cube. That's fine. But vegetable stock is so easy. You just throw all your... Well, look at this. It's time to bring out our bin. I just throw all my leftover cuttings, vegetables that are not quite bad, but I'm like, I don't want to eat that. Extra tomatoes. I can't leave my tomatoes cut up in the fridge. They have to get eaten or they have to go in here. Then you just boil it in a big pot of water until it turns this lovely color, which I'm about to show you, and put some salt and pepper. You've got vegetable stock. Herbs make it even better. Okay. So basmati is 2 to 1. So we have 2 cups of water, or 2 cups of rice in here. So we're going to go in with 4 cups of water or stock. And I have to stop talking and count because I'll forget. There's 3. There's 4. This is great when you're, making up something in a frying pan and it starts to get a little dry. Throw a little more vegetable stock in it. It's that simple. Now, I don't put a lot of salt in my stock. So if you've used a store-bought stock, don't add salt. But I haven't, so I'm going to put 2 pinches. And then we're going to put this on the stove on high. What are you doing over here? All right, now we are on to our next station of food, which is going to be the curry. Now, I must say I'm sorry to the people that I love that can't eat onions and garlic, but onions are the base of any good curry, so we got to go onion town today. Sorry, ladies, but this is super easy because we get to bring our friend the food processor into the game. I didn't have a food processor for years and years. I couldn't figure out why would anyone not just chop up 1 onion. Well, then I started making food for a whole bunch of people at one time. And then I realized I needed a food processor. Now, if you do not have a food processor, it's okay. Just chop your onion up really, really, really small. There we go. Get all of our peelings in our stock pot. Now I want this to basically turn into a paste. So I'm going to chop this up fairly small just to make sure that It really grinds up good. Uh-oh. Runaway onion. You know it's not rough chop if I don't sing a terrible Weird Al style amalgamation of one of my songs. Now, those of you who have watched my show before should be able to tell me where I put my garlic. There it is. 1 clove, 2 clove, 8 cloves, whatever. However much garlic you like. You can skip garlic in this recipe. You shouldn't, but you can. If you have to, I get it. This is a wad of garlic. Oh, I watched so much Jamie Oliver, I just said wad. Which I keep in the freezer and I usually grate, but for curry you want a lot of ginger. So buy yourself one of those gingery hands. Here's a demo. Break it up, put it in the freezer. Whenever you need one, you just yank a chunk of it out. It's excellent in tea if you have a tummy ache too. And we're gonna pulse this pretty fine so we can get away with leaving the skin on. Okay, in she goes. Okay, here we go. Now I want this super duper nice and pasty. So in she goes. Bam. All right, now we're gonna throw some peppers in there. You must be saying to yourself, hey Odessa, why didn't you just throw the peppers in with the onions and the garlic? Well, because the peppers are much more watery and they break up much faster, which means you get big, big chunks of onions, but your pepper has turned to liquid. So we are going to avoid that today by throwing it in after. I think maybe only one. All right, now we're gonna put this on low. In she goes, down the hatch. As you can see, it's already turning your onion a delightful shade of orange, which will certainly enhance the color profile here. Oh, that smells delightful. All right, now we got to turn this bad boy on here. Simmer. And while that's happening, normally you would just put this on your stove. We're going to put 1/2 a cup of olive oil in there. And we're going to move this bad boy over here. And we're going to bring this into the camera's focus. Oh, I'm sorry. And get that warming up. Now we're going to be participating in a activity which they call in Indian cooking called burning the curry. This is extremely similar to making a roux in North American cooking. We are not actually burning anything, but we are going to cook the spices into the vegetables and make a roux-like paste out of them. I'm gonna get our scraper out here because it drives me batshit when I'm watching the Food Network and they like leave $8 worth of ingredients in the bowl and just throw it to some poor person that needs to wash the dishes. I know they're doing their best to be professional, but here at Rough Chop, we get all the stuff out of the bowl. That's how we do. Okay, now, let's get our mermaid cups. Oh, our rice has started to boil. Halt. We put it down to 2. We put the lid on, and then we forget it exists until it's time to eat. I think I might need this a little hotter. All right. We are putting in 1 teaspoon of sea or kosher salt. If you have regular table salt, please only use half a teaspoon. As we've discussed, they put iodine in regular salt, and that enhances it and makes it extra, extra salty. We are going to go in with 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds. If you only have powdered cumin, same thing. It's stronger, half a teaspoon. Now this is getting hot. This smells so good. Whew. Makes the tears they flow. Ah! Ah! Got some powerful white onion. It's the very end of the season before the new onions come. Super powerful onions. Okay. We're going to go in with 2 heaped. And I mean, this is up to you. If you like a powerful curry flavor, this is a yellow curry, so this is not spicy at all. Well, I shouldn't say that. This is not hot at all. It's very spicy, but there's no heat to it. I like a little bit of heat, so we're going to go in with our magic ingredient, which I put in almost everything I cook, as you all know if you've been watching. 2 good shots of that. And our friend pepper. Delightful. As you can see, things are starting to get nice and brown. And that's why they call it burning, but we're certainly not going to burn it. So let's get ready for the next step. Hey, this is looking good. Starting to get nice and brown on the bottom. So I'm going to throw a little more stock in there, just so we can really cook out that curry flavor. All right. Okay, now traditionally Palak Paneer is cheese and spinach, but I find that spinach gets kind of slimy and I hate it when it does that. I prefer my spinach raw, so I like to use kale. All right, this is super easy. First thing we're gonna do, you guys have cut kale up with me before. Just so everyone knows, we cut the big woody stem off and we definitely put that in the soup pot because cabbage and kale add such a delightful, and this one's for you, Tim, umami to your stocks. And then we're just going to strip this leaf and leave the dino-y part behind. This one isn't working so good for my usual magic trick of kale cutting. Oh yeah, here we go, here we go. Now you can cook kale for a solid half an hour and it won't get slimy because you kind of sometimes do have to cook kale for a solid half an hour. We don't like those. Those are good for soup only. All right, we're gonna take a big old handful of kale and using a very loosely defined chiffonade, as we learned last week with our basil, cut it up. In she goes. Oh yeah. So if you were doing it proper, you would lay your leaves all nice and flat on top of each other. But we're just making kale, not basil or herbs. And here we go. Hope everyone had a fantastic long weekend. I did. I got to hang out with some family that I haven't seen in a long time because the weather was nice enough to be outside. All right. And then we're going to stir that. All right, so the next thing we need to do is seriously so easy. We're just going to put in some coconut milk and then go enjoy a cup of coffee or a nice wine or tea for some television programming and wait for our dinner to cook. Maybe put a load of laundry in, who knows? I told you this one was easy. So, magic of television, at this point in time, you would want to cook that for 15 further minutes before we did this step, but I do what I want. Now we are going to pretend that this is a brick of silken tofu, when in actuality it is paneer, which is Indian style cottage cheese, which is amazing, and which most of you have had. But I want to represent for my favorite vegans as well, so I'm going to show them what to do as well. Extra firm tofu. You guys all know how to do this, you're vegans. If you want to try tofu and you've never done it before, you take an absolutely spotlessly clean kitchen towel and you just keep pressing and pressing, and a bunch of tofu water will come out. It's that simple. That does not happen with the cream cheese, but we'll pretend. All you gotta do, maybe at some point in time you'll have to squeeze out your towel and do it again, but that is how you prepare a firm to extra firm tofu. Boop-boo. It's really that simple. Now, how do we cut it? Super easy. You cut it in fours. First that way, then that way, then that way. So you have 4 tofu-y paneer-y fingers. And then we cut this way. Ooh. And this way, cut this way, and cut this way. That seemed like a missed opportunity. There we go. Now we have, voila, 8 tofu fingers. We rotate, and we make the little cubes that you get of cheese when you're at a dinner party. Or tofu. Oh, I'm losing my line up here. I'm losing my precision. What about my knife skills? This is like my favorite. I always start off with perfect, even cheeses. It's not going to hurt my feelings if I get the big cheese, if you know what I'm saying. Now you're going to see that maybe this is a little thicker than you might want it to be. But you get to tell, like you've been for Indian food. Is that what it looks like? Is that the right kind of sauce? This is a little thick, so I'm going to put a tiny bit of water on it and let it finish out. We're going to let this cook for a further 10 minutes, and then we're going to eat. Woo! Look at me, I'm sizzling. I'm delicious, Palak Paneer. Wah, wah. All right, who's ready to eat some food and have some fun? I know I am. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stir up my rice just to, get it nice and light and fluffy. Should look like this. Now, let's be fancy. Take the scoop. I'm going to use a half a cup here. And then you scoop it along there until you really pack it full with rice. Then you're going to take the back of your spoon, give it a little press, and it'll come right off. Look at that. That's so badass. I feel like that this should be a plate for lovers, so we're going to make some rice for 2. Look at that. Excellent. Now, you can just put your rice down on a pile, but then everything mixes together really fast with the sauce on the bottom, and you really want the cheese to cascade down to the bottom while the sauce delightfully enrobes your rice mounds. That is fantastic. I feel like this could be enhanced with just a tiny bit more sauce. Now, I'm gonna put a little tiny salt and a little tiny bit of pepper, because here on Rough Chop, we season at every level. And we're gonna have a taste of this here. Oh, I love this cheese. Oh no, we crashed the mountain. Mmm. Mmm. Both the paneer or the tofu is going to soak up all of that sauce. Such a rich, delightful curry. A nice sweetness from those peppers and that coconut milk. And then a beautiful texture and great health from the kale. I'm Odessa Larman. I'm a private chef here in Canada. And I am the owner of Brunoise Home Cooking. I make a show every week, and I'd love for you to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the show. And have a great day, everyone. Eat your veggies.